Hey sleepy buddies, I'm John Patrick and tonight's story comes from a Reddit user named SilentWitness03. He said it happened during a corporate wellness retreat in the Appalachian foothills, and by the end of the weekend, nobody was the same again. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tell me in the comments, where in the world are you watching from tonight?
Now, let's begin. It happened last autumn when my company decided to send our entire creative team to a wellness getaway called Silent Retreat Lodge. The name sounded peaceful enough. It was supposed to be a long weekend of digital detoxing, yoga, and mindfulness in the woods. No phones, no talking, just silence. I wasn't thrilled about it, but after months of burnout and insomnia, it felt like an excuse to breathe for a while. The lodge sat deep within the Appalachian wilderness, about 3 hours from any major highway. By the time we reached it, the sun was already sinking behind the ridge. The structure itself looked like an old monastery. Stone walls, iron lanterns, and a hand-painted sign that read, "In silence we hear what was always speaking." That line stayed with me. Our retreat guide, a man named Elias, greeted us without words. He wore a black robe and motioned for us to follow. There was something about him, pale eyes, slow movements, that made me uneasy. We surrendered our phones, watches, and any devices at the front desk. The air felt thick as we stepped into the main hall, where candles flickered in brass holders. The rules were simple, written on parchment. 1. No speaking. 2. No writing or gestures to communicate. 3. Remain inside the property until departure. 4. Do not enter the forest after dark. That night I lay in my narrow bed listening to the creak of wood and the rhythmic hum of crickets outside. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was pressing, like the air itself wanted to say something. Around 2 a.m., I woke to the sound of footsteps in the hallway. Soft, bare feet padding against the floorboards. I thought maybe someone had broken the rules, sneaking to the bathroom. But when I peeked out, the hall was empty. Then I saw it. On the opposite wall, a shadow stood, not cast by any light, just there, darker than the darkness itself. It tilted its head, as if curious, then glided away without a sound. The next morning, we were led to the meditation chamber. Elias stood at the front, eyes closed as we sat in a perfect circle. The quiet stretched for what felt like hours until something shifted in the air. A woman in our group, Miranda, suddenly started to shake. Her eyes rolled back and she gasped for air, clutching her throat. Elias walked over calmly, placed 2 fingers on her forehead and whispered something we weren't supposed to hear. The moment he did, she froze. Then she smiled. For the rest of the retreat, Miranda didn't eat, didn't blink much, but she followed Elias everywhere like a shadow. On the second night, I broke the rule. I couldn't sleep. The humming from the woods was louder now, like dozens of whispers rising from the trees. So I grabbed my flashlight and stepped outside. The forest was alive with sound. Not animals, not wind, but a low, constant murmur. Words, half-formed, layered over each other. When I shone my light ahead, I saw figures standing among the trees. Dozens of them, motionless, facing the lodge. Their skin was pale gray, eyes open but empty. And every single one of them had the same face, Elias's. My flashlight flickered out. In the dark, I heard him whisper behind me, "Silence is how we listen to the dead." I ran back inside, locked my door, and waited for sunrise. The next morning, half the group was gone. Their beds were neatly made, their belongings stacked at the foot. Elias didn't mention them. He only handed each of us a white candle and gestured for us to follow him down a stone staircase I hadn't seen before. The passage led deep underground to a chamber lined with old wooden pews. At the far end was an altar, and behind it, carved into the rock, that same phrase from the sign outside. In silence, we hear what was always speaking. Elias lit the candles one by one. Then, without warning, every light went out. I heard breathing, slow, heavy, all around me. When the candles flickered back, Elias was gone, and Miranda was standing behind the altar, her face streaked with soot, her lips moving in a silent chant. Then, one by one, the others began to hum, low at first, then rising, a sound like a hive of bees made of human voices. The walls began to vibrate, cracks split the stone, something massive moved behind it. I dropped my candle and ran. By the time I reached the upper floor, the lodge was empty again. I found my phone behind the desk. No signal, of course, but the screen showed one new video file I didn't record. It was titled Retreat Silent 01 MP4. I played it. It showed me, sitting in that underground chamber, humming with the rest of them. My eyes were vacant, my mouth open, but I don't remember any of that. When I finally escaped the mountain the next morning, I looked back once. The lodge was gone. Nothing but trees. Now, weeks later, I hear that hum again whenever I try to sleep. It's faint, just under the edge of hearing. And sometimes, when I wake up in the dark, I find a candle burning beside my bed. I never light it. Outro, John Patrick. That was Silent Retreat, a true story that proves sometimes peace and quiet aren't what they seem. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and tell me where you're watching from tonight. This is John Patrick from Life Stories, signing off. And remember, silence can be louder than screams.